So in today's video, we're going to do some basic work on our website. I'm still trying to figure out the future plans with it, but today's task is going to be to use flexbox to implement a social media tab that looks kind of nice, and then we're going to implement a dark slash bright toggle so we can make it look nice. So this is what the website looks like right now. As you can see, the website tags, it's very messy, so we're gonna fix that up first, and then we'll go to the next one. That be what we're gonna cover in this stream. So let's get back to the terminal, and I'm gonna pull up the app so I can see if anyone messages anything, but I don't expect it, but you never know. If I can. Yeah, I think I'll just check periodically, because it's not very effective. Alright, so to get started with the current changes, we're going to open up our terminal. I already have it on screen. And we're going to be working on flexbox, so let's see if it stays full screen. If I make it smaller, does it autocorrect? Yeah, it autocorrects. That's pretty nice. So we're going to open our index and see what we got going on here. I haven't checked on it since last stream. And we can see we're actually using a navigation HTML function here. It's not optimal for what we're trying to do. So we're going to use CSS flexbox, and I'm going to be reading on it as we go through so we can implement it. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make 3 boxes for each link. So we're gonna start right here, and we'll create an HR line here so we can see what we're doing. So let's create our container. They start with style, and then they end with another dash for style. Let's make sure that's not a base, something that's already there. Nope. So that'll be what we're gonna add. And we're gonna have this one called let's follow their syntax. So container display flex, and the background color is gonna be black, right? I think that's what we want for the theme of our channel. Oh, yep. So we're gonna say color background color black. Hopefully that's flex box. I should probably just do my entire screen so you can see what I'm even doing. Alright. That's not very good. Alright, we'll just have to focus on what's going on in front. So, YouTube. Just open up my tab here, so now I can see the chat if anything comes up. I'll just put something there, so why not? Alright then. So flexbox, background, colors. Let's see what they got. Options. Ooh. I mean, we'll just use what they got so we can keep it consistent, because I'm sure they'll provide colors somewhere around here. So Dodge blue. And then container div. And this contains another background color. Background. I wonder what this affects, but we'll just add it to our project here. This is gonna be margin. So margins, padding, and fonts. Well, font size is just the side of the text, but those are the ones I've heard about. So we'll see what they do. Hopefully you can give us a little explanation. And then the last one's gonna be font size, and that's gonna be 30 pixels. And then we can we'll close off this here. This will be top of head area, and then we have our actual container right there, item 1, 2, 3. Can I have this all in the body paragraph? I don't know. We'll find out. So I feel like this goes in our CSS. So div class equals container, and div item 1 div, and then we'll have item 2 and item 3. And then we'll close this off. Yeah, I think the rest goes straight into CSS. It should not be in here. So we're gonna copy, well, we're gonna have to just output the whole entire file and then copy and paste it. So style, and then we're gonna open contact gallery, HTML, index. So which ones are we using? We're using main.css. So we're gonna open up main.css and then put this at the bottom. And we're gonna get rid of, I don't think we need style here, do we? This definitely goes. I know that. And then we can close that. Unfortunately, these all have spaces, so that really sucks. We're gonna have to delete them one by one. There got to be a faster way than this. That's not any faster. I'm not great enough of these for shortcuts yet. I gotta practice them. So we're just gonna do something like this. And hopefully it works. We're gonna have to go back to index and then delete what we had there beforehand. And not get this one here. Nope. Okay, that looks good. Be in. Should this be in a CSS file? Or should we create a styles file? I don't know if we need the style here. We can get rid of that. And then we'll just have our examples down here. Style. Okay, so we definitely need those. Yeah, we can just get rid of this because it's not necessary from what I just looked up online. So let's get rid of that. And that should leave us with our container. Hopefully I haven't had anything else here called container. Nope. So now we can go back to our index, update the CSS from doing this. I had a lot of frustration with that where it would not update itself at all until I looked up why is that happening, and I guess you have to put a little marker that lets it know when to update. And it's just one little problem. So let's see if that updates and applies to our website. So we're going to clear our screen, and then we do get, add all, get, commit, flexbox test, get, push -u, and then we're going to check out our changes. So let's bring up our website. So the ChatGPT who's I'm asking the questions about. And then let's go to our website and refresh it. Oh, look at that. There's the boxes. So it does still look a little bit odd, as I want it to be flush with the background itself. I think that'll be solved pretty simply by making it the same color. Not sure yet. So let's open up our code again so we can figure out if that's possible or not. So now we just created flexbox, and while I read, I'll just switch back so you can see what I'm reading about. So flexbox is a layout model that arranges things horizontal and vertically. It makes it easy to design responsive layout without using float or positioning. So that's what we just made a basic thing on our website with. Item 1, item 2, item 3. And I don't see this blue bar from the background color. It's a little bit odd. I'm not gonna worry about that. So what did he got next? A coding challenge. Test your understanding of flexbot by completing display flex. So get the container display flex, set the container to set the container gap to 10 pixels. So how do I do that? So we're gonna open main.css and see what we just copied from them, basically. So set the container to display flex. So imagine you just copy and paste that to our container right here. Guess you can't tab. What's going on here? Nope. So do 2 spaces and then set the container to rows. Did we have to specify that? I don't think we did. So sets the background, the color, padding, sign right. So what does the solution say? It says flex direction row. I think it's row by default. So we'll have to go back to here. Can I check the solution? That'd be pretty neat. So they do have a gap. We don't even have a gap specified to just exist. Probably exist in margins, I would say. Doesn't change how far apart they are. So we're gonna go to flex response, just so we can go skip ahead. Or let's go through these and see what they have to say. So the flex container has the following properties: display, the direction, if it should be wrapped or not, flow, use all the spaces, align the space, align flex lines when there's extra space in the cross axis and flex item wrap. Okay. I'm gonna test it out here. Try resizing the browser. This is no wrap. That's what it says. So it just gets smaller as you bring it in closer. This is gonna be for wrap. Well, let's see what it does. I don't think I want wrap, but that's neat. You would wrap it in reverse order. Flex flow property shorthand for setting both direction and wrap properties. Row wrap. So I want to go to direction. What does that have to say? So rows are default. That's what we saw. That's what we want. Justify contents. Align items. So normal is default. Middle corner. So this is justify. What's under items? The drag child elements. There's a lot of different ways of displaying it. Not exactly what we're looking for. If you're creating a 3-column layout, what's this example give? Let me make it smaller. Oh, let's see. I wonder if, can you store pictures? So responsive image gallery. Here we use media queries to get our flexbox to create responsive image. So that's why you would want to know all that stuff. So you can get some nice pictures in there. So that's like the best way to learn it. That's what we want. We also want something that looks like this. Oh, I see why they're creating all these separate tabs. So how did they make this happen? There's definitely a lot of CSS here. Let's just go to the picture one because that's what we're looking when you want pictures like this. So resize the browser, flex wrap. I guess we can set the wrap property. So that's going to be under container. So flex wrap. And then, so how did they get the images? So they put the images and then they set their width. And this is under a div class container. So we go to index and insert our images. So right here, this is where they would put them. So they're doing it by columns. That's not what we're looking for. But right here they do image s4c equals. And then we're going to start the YouTube PNG. See what that does. And then style equals width 100%. We'll see if this actually does anything major. And then, oh, we gotta define our image. So that's what we're gonna do next. So we're gonna open up main.css. And then let's add some comments here. So that's going to be flexbox area, just so we know where it starts and ends. And let's define our container image. So container image, and then margin top 8 pixels, vertical. Alright, let's flip these around again. Now that we're back to this. So we image inside this element with the class container. So 8 pixels of space above each image. Is that what we're seeing? Yeah, it kind of separates them. I'm guessing this for each box, right? I'm pretty much just going through what other people made and applying it. I don't think people are creating new. Well, there are, but most people aren't creating no CSS here, just using what they got. So let's see what that does. I forgot one of the endpoints here. Why do I have this here? Now we're gonna open the index one more time and make sure our changes get through. And then let's push the changes and see if they happen. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And then test image. And then we're gonna push changes and we'll see if that changes anything. Maybe. Let's see. Need to get to the right tab. It doesn't take too long to update. So we got this out. They're all the way over here. And there's no image that I'm looking for. Something to see. So let's open up main.css. Kind of figure out why it's so. It's not exactly what we're looking for. I wonder why the image is not even there. It must not even know it's there. Maybe the pathway to the file is not correct. I don't know. Oh yeah. I see the problem. So let's see if that does it. Okay. Now I just gotta keep refreshing this until we can see our no changes. Oh, there's a large picture. You can't click on it though. That's not what we're looking for. How to add a So it's definitely way too large. That is not what we're looking for. Let's first add our link to it. And then, so you can do from there. Maybe it just doesn't have any of the other stuff, so we'll copy that over. So add a margin 10 pixels, padding 20, and then we're gonna open up our index. And apply the link to that large picture there. So where's that at? Oh, it's right here. So we can just copy this right here, because that's what we're looking for. Oh, I didn't want to open it, I just wanted to copy, and then we paste it right here. And now, got the link. Got a link, alright. So let's add all the rest of the other things now. So I'd start by, these things are pretty much the same. So copy, and then image. I don't want to paste again. So let's delete that. And I can just get rid of these. I'm not using them anymore. So we copied the link. Now let's copy this one. And we'll paste it over here. So image. We don't need that, I don't think. Okay. Why does your parent container? No, thank you. So I do need to define how large what if is. So what do we got here? That looks right. So let's open up our main.css and set that width size that we're looking at. So width, (300 pixels). We'll see what that looks like. Index.html, and make sure that the CSS actually updates here. So it looks like we do, there should be enough to test it. So let's try it out. So add flexbox with image, social media links, and then push the changes. It might take a second, so we'll keep packing out the last section of this. So now that we got those two, this is the last third one right here. So copy this, and then we're gonna put it up here. Alright, and then our image. Let's go back to what they had over here. Alright, let's refresh the web page. Yeah, that's a lot better. The images are the sizes are very not proportional. But you can show right here, it's looking closer to what we want. But no, it's not exactly there. Obviously, their sizes are not great. They're way too large. So that's what we're gonna change. We're gonna change the size. So we're gonna finish up for the GitHub one, and then try to make the sizes the correct proportions. So href, and then let's get our image link from over here. So flexbox does make it look a lot nicer, that's for sure. /a. Okay. And then go to width, set the width as well. Equals width 100%. So it uses all of it. But we're gonna we'll have the length or width. And we'll also do length here. Make sure it updates the nil sizes. Update. And then we'll push the changes. See if it looks nicer. And now let's do a quick refresh here. Hasn't gone through yet. Oh, nice. Look at that. So obviously one's a lot taller than the other. It's not ideal. I'm not exactly sure what to do about that. I think I should have to retake the pictures and then get them to the right proportions. So I think that's what I'm gonna do here. Let's just open up those images in an editor. So that'll be the best way to ensure that they're what we're looking for in terms of size. Alright. So website, and then we can find all of our images here. So let's open them into Cura, and let's get them to the right proportions so that we can have a lot less trouble here. So we're gonna start with Blue Sky because that one's the tallest. Stands out. It seems so small over, you know. That's weird. Can we get... I wonder if it can tell us how big these are. So I really don't know. Smart patch. Like how large are these images actually? Well, well, it doesn't really matter to be honest. We'll just use the tiles in the background as a reference. And we're going to try to fit them to be all about the same. So let's use that's a little bit too big. So let's make this one, let's crop the sides of this guy. Make it more square-like. That's so weird, why is it doing that? Maybe we can fit them all into a 3x3 area. Let's do that. So we got that. Okay, so that gets our first one down. Let's hide this one and then save it as a PNG. PNG, YouTube, PNG, save. Okay, now let's do the next one here. And then we're going to try to get to the same proportions. We'll grab the corner. Does that look good? Oh no. I lost the proportionality. Or what if I just layer one onto the other? Okay, that's probably better. And then we'll grab the corner of this one. Make sure they match up. It's close enough. Blue, sky, PNG, PNG. And then we'll drag in the last one, just for a GitHub link. So I'm gonna put it right here, and then we'll drag it out. Okay. So the proportionality should be about the same now. Save as GitHub PNG. Alright, looks good. Now let's get those new images in here. So that's not what we're looking for, bro. Pictures. And then we're gonna go to the images we just made. We're already saved. Save as. Center pictures. Oh, there they are. And then we'll copy and then we'll match the names up. Alright, that looks good. So, ls images. Okay. Update images sizes. And then I'll post the change. Let's see what that does. If anything, hopefully it does at least something. It must, I don't know. Or maybe it's not gonna find the new images. Icon. bigenemy.com. It's getting annoying. Guess I gotta type it out fully. Now they're in column format. That's not what we're looking for. So let's fix that if I can. I think it's been wrapped, so we're just gonna remove that line. So let's go down there. I should also specify so that they're gonna be columns. So we're gonna go to container. So flex, direction, row. And now that I got this, I can go get rid of the wrap. See what that does. Nano index, and then we'll update the CSS. We'll push these no changes. Because that is not ideal. The images are much smaller though. I mean, that's what we're looking for. Okay. But now there's a lot of space in between them. Because that's the saved image is not. It probably takes up this whole area. How do I get around this with the software? Hmm. Dimensions. So I go file, export, and then choose PNG as the format. Where can I get this size? Because we want the export size to fit the PNG. That's the problem we ran into. I don't know. I'll come back to this in a second. Alright, now I'm picking this up. So the problem that we're trying to solve now is that the image isn't being saved as what I'm looking for. So how do I do that? Sure. Alright. So I want to set a specific size so that it fits around the actual drawing. Or maybe I could just take a picture here. Because I don't know how to do that. So we're going to have all of them here. Where's the last one? It must be under. Yep. So I'll just take screenshots and these should all end out being about the same. If I can get some good pictures here. Screenshot number 1. And this will get the image to its right size. Now, could I have done that from the start? Maybe? It's too late to know now. Alright, I might be getting my face too close. Alright, so one more. Now should be pretty set up after that. Alright, now I got all of my PNG screenshots. It's gonna be under pictures, screenshots, and then here's the new screenshots. So move here. Move here. Move here. And then we're gonna move. We want to rename these guys here. So let's get rid of the old. And then we're gonna rename them so our naming's consistent. So rename, copy this, and then we're gonna rename. So I do gotta get going on the next video topic. I'm gonna look at how my last video did and kind of decide if I want to keep going that style or not. I'd like to get into Blender tutorial type content because they're easy. It should be pretty easy to make and quick, and should cover what people need to know. Because it seems like Blender 5, a lot of the UI is moved around, so it can be confusing watching older videos. And so it actually might bring some value. And it'd be a quick way to make some new content that brings something people want. I do have to get better at, like, there's a lot of room to improvement just in general. Especially in, like, communicating with the audience so that they enjoy what they're listening to. I still gotta figure out that. I think that's a skill you just learn. So I just gotta keep making new content, seeing what I did wrong, and then trying to improve from there. I don't know. I do need to spend some time just looking at what I did, what I've done so far, and what's working, what's not. When are people clicking away? Those are like type of things I need to just look at my previous content and reflect on. Now, this is outdated here. It's big. GameRenew.com. Oh yeah, that's nice. There's still, the proportions aren't amazing. But that is a lot a lot closer to what I've been looking for this whole time. Now they are way too big still. So we're gonna go down to our CSS file and we're gonna make them a lot smaller, so we'll do 50-50 and then just open up our index and make sure that gets updated. So that's sweet. I'm actually gonna have a website with some nice social media links. So that was one of the things I wanted to accomplish tonight. I think I want to do a toggle light mode for in dark. I'm gonna keep the default dark so people's eyes don't burn out if you're on the screen all the time. I think I'm not gonna do that this stream though. Did I push no changes? Yeah, I did. It's not too much smaller, is it? It's about the same size. So I can delete that bottom section down here. Delete. And now I got this instead. Now, is the size going to change? That's what I'm wondering about. Because right now it's still too big. Yeah, definitely. What if I go in here and set the widths to 50% directly? So 50, 50, 50. And then we'll do another update to this. And then we'll push the changes. And see if it looks any different. Obviously, we do know something's going to disappear, such as the navigation section. Now, what am I going to run into as well? Hoping to see some positive changes. So now there's a gap between them again, because they're not taking 100% of their space. Well, that's not what I was looking for. So we'll put the widths back to 100%. Because obviously that's not what we're looking for. And now we're going to open up our main.css. See if we can make them smaller. 50 pixels. This is already like and small as shit. Obviously something's not right. So we'll go back to here. Maybe we'll just have to set another style. So style equals, and then our new length 100%. And see if that does the trick. I don't know if that's gonna be work. Does this work? Okay, that's how you're supposed to do it. Height is auto. Oh, I want to use height instead. So we'll do that. So inside that same box, height is going to be auto. And then you close it off right there. Maybe. I don't even know if we have to. I think this is overriding what we have in the back in our CSS. That's probably why they're not changing the pixel size. So, height. And then we'll make sure this updates too. And then let's go back to our tab that we're looking for. And let's refresh this one more time. How long has this been going on for? Let's take a check. An hour long. Yeah, it's getting tiring. I feel like I can't do things more than an hour at a time before I start getting drained. So there's a space between that and there. Seems like what I did to... I fixed something by switching it to height. So I should probably add that width back again. So style equals style equals width 100%, and let's push that change, push it and see what it does. Because it seems like these two are more of what I'm looking for as well. Now let's just see what that does. Oh nice, they're all connected together. What if I get rid of that bottom line? It kind of looks weird now. And I guess I'm gonna get rid of the drawing game because honestly I'm giving up on the idea. I don't know, I don't think it brings any value. Just because it's too simplistic. Honestly, if you wanted, you should probably, if I wanted something similar like what I was thinking, it'd be best just to have like where people click on like a pixel and it changes or something like that. So we'll just leave that as our change this here, and we'll wait for the changes to happen. Alright. That looks a little bit better, I guess. Alright, I'm gonna call this here so I can take a break. And let's use this one. Oh, I'm not even sharing that screen on here. Okay. Thank you for watching. If you do check this out, I don't think anyone will, but send this here.